This is part 2 of all around body language. We bridge the hands. Now, opened up palms, open, or when up palms. This sign has many meanings, and it relies on context. You figure out what your co-speaker means. In many cases, it is an attempt to show honesty or submissiveness. It may have evolved to show that we don't hold a weapon, we are no threat. It may also mean that you don't know, kind of showing that your hands are empty and you don't have an answer. This gesture is no so subliminal like many others are. It can also be a mask. So like, okay, I'm open for communication. Other meanings. Attempted trustworthiness, not guilty. Palms open, but forward. That's it. This is stop sign. This sign is heavily defensive sign. It is usually made when the subject wants someone or something to stop. This sign is usually made with the palm facing the person or things they wish would stop. It may be subconsciously by the side of the body. Seeing someone making this sign from afar usually means they're in some sort of argument or are annoyed and fed up with someone. Other meaning. Slow down. It can also mean a greeting, but greeting is this. It can be greeting, but this is slow down or defensive. Hand over heart. This sign is usually conscious, or at least partially conscious sign. The subject uses it to show that they are seeking to be believed, whether they are lying or not. Other meanings. Chest pains could also be a barrier, but barrier is this. This not. This can also be a sign of uncomfortableness or trying to warm up your body, but this is barrier. Finger point. This is sign of aggression. You generally point at the person or object the subject is angry at. People who hold position of high authority will often do a two-fingered point to attempt to intimidate their opponent. Politicians will also try to refrain from pointing, but will point with their thumb to hide it. This is very commonly done by US President, and this is mostly commonly done by Putin, Soviet President. Also, a French President, for example, never does it. German President sometimes does. Other meanings. Alpha, signaling someone. Emphasis, illustration can also mean, but sometimes yes, sometimes not. Clenched fists. This is most commonly a sign of aggression or defense. If someone is feeling threatened or offended, they make fists as to prepare to fight. The meaning all depends on context though, but other meanings are resistance, determination, coldness. Thumbs in clenched fists. This sign is generally made to be self-comforting, holding your own body part. Other meanings can also be security or frustration. Let's go to the claw. Claw is a sign of arrogance. The hand is in claw-like shape, halfway between a fist and completely open hand. It's usually meaning that the subject feels superior to everyone in the room, like an alpha. They have a pretty high self-confidence. Other meaning can also be alpha, signaling someone, emphasis. Hand chop. This is when the subject moves their hands in a chopping-like motion while speaking. This sign may be condescending. If the fingers are together, this is usually an alpha signal, and is condescending. If the fingers are opened, it is more beta and inferior. Just look. And this is alpha. Other meanings can also be emphasis. Prayer hand chop. This is when the subject has their hands in prayer formation and moves them in a chopping motion while speaking. This is a very condescending gesture. Other meaning can also be alpha. Finger pointing in air. I mean, you all know what this is, no need to show. This is generally used for emphasis by people of higher authority. You have seen when someone speaks or a president, they most often use that. Signal. Other mean can also be signaling. Finger wagging. This sign is meaning for warning. Knuckle cracking. This is sometimes a means to draw attention to oneself. Other meanings, preparation or just comforting habit. Signs of deceit, manipulators. Be warned. These are some signs that generally imply fabrication or lying, but be wary as they may just be coincidence. Many of these signs are done to hide blushing blood flow, as lying increases blood flow, causes readiness. Signs: touching mouth or face, touching or reaching nose, tongue in ear, rubbing eye. Let's go to the legs now. Leg position. The direction of the legs most generally signifies the area subject is paying attention to. Legs pointed towards the door usually means they want to leave, or pointed at the window means that they are focused on something out the windows. Make sure you also note where their torso is facing and their feet. Other meaning, it can also be a weird sitting position. Mostly, if legs are turned towards the exit, person can be bored, just want to go out. Uncrossed legs. This sign usually shows openness in the subject. Crossed legs usually means the sense of a closed attitude. Other meanings. It can also be relaxing. Parallel straight legs. If mostly female sits in their legs straight and parallel, they are usually conveying a sign of proneness. Crossed legs. This is mostly closed attitude, but if someone's legs suddenly change to this position, they may suddenly have felt a sense of threat, discomfort or disinterest, mostly discomfort. Other meanings. It can also be a barrier, but if arms are crossed and legs crossed, this is 100% barrier. Or if fists are clenched. It can also be in an uncomfortable seat, but mostly look other signs for this. Intertwined legs. When the subject legs are crossed and one leg is sort of wrapping around the other, it's either crossed legs above or flirting. Take other signs to be able to tell. This is a very sexual sign, suggesting flirting or attraction. Intertwined legs with one leg that is shaking up and down is very heavily a sexual attraction sign. In general, other meanings, it can also mean like a crossed legs, like a barrier. But mostly if female does this to a male, it is also a sign of attraction. Shoe play. When the subject is playing with her feet or shoes, such as slipping the shoe of the foot and back on, this suggests sexual attraction or flirting. It can also be relaxation or that person is hot. I mean, this is most often a sexual sign. Figure 4 crossed legs. When one leg is crossed over the other leg to form figure 4, this is usually a sign of independence or stubbornness. It can be seen as a form of barrier, but more of a barrier separating you from the subject. It can also mean alpha or resistance. In a date, if someone is in that position, not wise to attack. Sitting open legs. This is a generally arrogant sign. It means the subject is feeling confident and dominant. This exposes the genitals, so is rarely done in formal situation, but if it is, then the subject either very arrogant or ignorant. It can also mean that someone is alpha pretty much resistful. Standing legs apart. This is a sign for readiness. Subject is ready for action, whether it be a fight or work. But this sign more commonly means an aggressive readiness. Fists or hands on the hips can support the aggressiveness. Other meanings: only aggression. Flags standing wide apart is only a sign of aggression. Standing at attention. This means a military stance. Legs straight, arms straight, and body upright. This is usually demonstrated by military personnel and learned from the military. This is a sign of respect for someone in authority. If legs are apart, the person is ready to fight. Ankles locked. This is a barrier sign of defensiveness. Other meaning can also be boredom if combined with other signs like often changing positions or head to the side. Hope you like this tutorial. In general, try to apply something of this in real life. Subscribe, like, don't forget to comment. Greetings.